Hey everybody, welcome to Gross Anatomy Podcast, where we explore the sights, smells, and sounds of medicine, how it relates to movies, TV, books, podcasts, and the world around us. And I am Dr. Jason Cohen.
And I am Lauren Taylor, and today it's just us. We got a lot to talk about.
Just the two of us. What are we talking about today, Lauren Taylor?
There's just been so much in the news about celebrity health, Noah Wyle going to DC. There's been some food challenge contests I wanted to get your opinion on. There's also been some celebrity trending surgeries that doctors advise against.
Celebrity trending surgeries. Yeah, before we get into all that, which is super cool stuff, I just want to comment on last episode's podcast that I loved with Bradley Rose. It was an amazing episode. I loved meeting him. But the only thing is that I noticed is he had this amazing. He was like just all head. I'm doing it right now, like on the pad, like I'm here. You got my whole torso and everything going. He was all head, and he looked just so good. But I like that. I'm wondering, should we both do our podcast like this, just all head? What do you think of that?
Frame. I feel like he had more. Maybe his chairs were higher.
Maybe, but he was all head, and I just thought that was so. He didn't need anything else in the frame, but he looked good. I think that's because he's young. But I don't know if we did all head with me. I think it'd be a little scary. So I'm going to back up. We'll get some body, but I wonder if there's like a whole thing about like Zooming podcasts and Zooming interviews. Do they give like a whole? Is there like just like they teach people like in interviews today, you know, what to do, what to say, what to wear? Is there like a whole, make sure you have a little bit of space above your head, some space below your head. Make sure you show your lapel. I wonder if there's a whole etiquette to that.
I'm sure there is, but then people like, I think, I haven't watched a documentary on the girl that did the podcast Call Me Daddy. Is that what it is? That's a really big podcast. I think
Call Me Daddy.
But I think she like does hers on the couch, kind of like they did in that show, Nobody Wants This. I think she does hers more like that. I think it's like wherever your style is. So we got to figure out like what is our vibe.
Okay, there you go. You know, the truth is, speaking of vibes, I always say to my kids, and I think my kids agree with me, what my wife, shout out Bernice, Master Injector, my wife is very into world events and politics and stuff like that. And I'm basically her platform. You know, she's always talking about all that stuff to me. So I'm like, and she loves being in bed. So I'm like, we need for you to have a podcast of Bernice talking politics in bed. So similar thing. I think maybe we'll birth her podcast. Yeah, exactly.
But is that kind of stuff like stuff you don't say out of the house? Like my husband and I say like, you know, kind of political stuff. And then we're like, probably shouldn't say that outside.
Yeah. So it'll be anonymous wife in bed talking politics. Yeah. She'll have like a voice thing and like her face will be like, you know, blurred out or something. Yeah.
But we've had she would actually be a great podcast just explaining everything that she does because we've had her on the show in one of our very first episodes.
True that.
She can explain so much that I don't.
So much cosmetic stuff that we know nothing about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So what's going on?
So the latest news was, the last doctor is set to, he pleaded guilty to 4 counts of distribution of ketamine in Matthew Perry's death. Because he died, October 2023. And the medical examiner, even though he was in a hot tub, and I think, you know, drowning.
The medical examiner was in a hot tub?
No, Matthew Perry was in a hot tub.
Right.
He did rule that the main cause of death was ketamine.
Yeah.
So that's why they went after these people. Apparently, I wanted you to explain this to me. It says that his regular doctor gave him a legal but off-label treatment for depression of ketamine.
Yeah. Right.
What does legal but off-label mean?
So there's a lot of stuff that we do and use that's legal medicines, but we use them for off-label things. Like Botox originally it's botulinum toxin. And initially, all the initial work on it and a lot of the things that even today it's used for were off-label. You know, someone's like, maybe we could use it to treat migraines. Let's try it. Oh, it worked, you know, and it was off. And with filler too, you know, people use filler now to like, they're not happy with how their hands look. So they use filler for that. And a lot of early treatments and things are used off label, even though they're a legal thing, like Ozempic for that matter. Ozempic came out for treatment of diabetes. people realized people were losing weight on it. So an off-label use was weight loss. Now it's become an on-label thing, but originally it was off-label. So that's what off-label means. But I have my own thoughts about I saw you wanted to talk about the whole Matthew Perry thing. It was tragic. His death was tragic. I loved him as an actor. I loved him as a comedian. We actually listened to his book on tape, which is narrated by him. And the interesting thing, he's talking about being sober in the book. And in hindsight, listening to him talk, he didn't necessarily sound sober, even though he's talking about being sober, but while he's doing his narration. But what bugs me a little bit, and I hope I don't get a ton of hate from this, is that Matthew Perry's addiction and his death were his own fault. I hate to say it. He wasn't murdered. He was an addict, and it was his own, and maybe it's because of stuff that happened in his life. But just because the reality of society is people want to blame. People want to find people to blame. People want to punish people. So, yeah, these doctors maybe did wrong and maybe they deserve to be investigated for doing other things. But at the end of the day, they weren't the cause of Matthew Perry's death. Matthew Perry's death was because of Matthew Perry, which is tragic, and I feel badly. And the last thing I want is anyone I know or love or care about to die from anything, premature, right. But God forbid some kind of drug overdose or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's weird that they're trying to find blame. Yeah.
I guess
that whole thing
it's very tragic, but he did have heart conditions because of his substance abuse. He was in a hot tub. He was in a sauna, but I guess the level of ketamine that they administered to him, or that but you're right, he chose to take it. He asked for it. But I guess that doctor distributed to him. This doctor that pleaded guilty recently was like a urgent care. He ran an urgent care in Malibu. And apparently he texted, I wonder how much this moron will pay. So, I'm assuming that they thought they could get a lot of money from him for ketamine, which they thought was kind of harmless. But right. The amount that they gave him, according to another doctor that had nothing to do with this, said, that would cause someone to not be able to move, to not be able to get out of a hot tub, to pass out, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely there was some element of, definitely the doctor did wrong stuff, but the fact that they're looking to find a scapegoat to Matthew Perry's death. His death, unfortunately, was because he was a drug addict. And it's unfortunate and terrible, but the fact that they're trying to just pin the blame on someone else, maybe the guy needs to lose his license because he's a bad doctor or irresponsible or whatever. But the fact that they're saying cause and effect, Matthew Perry's dead because of this guy, come on. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
I hope that's not too controversial a thought, but it.
No, I think we're in agreement. You have to do what his regular doctor was not saying. Do this. He knew that. He was asking for something that he knew was over the limit. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And people do all sorts of stuff knowing that they're doing all sorts of stuff, but I don't know. It's a whole weird situation.
No, I agree. So that was in the news, and then Saturn news. So the Saturn news was about Eric Dane. You didn't happen to watch that Diane Sawyer interview, did you?
No, but I heard about it on the radio. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched clips of it. It's just so sad. Eric Dane, everyone knows he was in Grey's Anatomy. He was Dr. McSteamy, right? The other one was McDreamy. He was McSteamy.
Right.
Apparently he's in Euphoria. He's been in a lot.
He's in Euphoria as like a creepy, scary dad guy. Yeah.
Is he?
Great role. Yeah, great role. But I saw, I didn't see all of it, but I definitely saw enough episodes. He's played a kind of interesting character in it.
And I know my husband's dad, my father-in-law, watched The Last Ship, which was on the TNT, I think for at least probably 3 seasons or more. He's just been a TV star, and he was the star of that show.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was diagnosed with
ALS.
Yeah.
Incurable still.
Lou Gehrig's disease, basically.
It affects the nervous system, and the life expectancy is still 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
People can live longer.
Yeah.
But I was looking up to see, because you remember when the Ice Bucket Challenge was really popular?
Yeah.
They apparently did raise $115 million from that.
Wow.
And they did do new studies, open new places for ALS clinics. But there's still no cure, but they are doing more for ALS related genes And there's new drugs called Radicava and Calcody. I don't know how to say it. Apparently it's maybe helping stabilize it a little bit. I mean, it's still newer. So
Yeah, it's a pretty tragic disease,
mhm.
just progressive neurologic degeneration, where and I heard on the interview he's already lost, right? You watched it, right? So
Use of his right arm. I think
yeah.
I'm not sure if he's still acting in things or he just finished things, but yeah. So he was swimming apparently, and his 13-year-old had to come rescue him because he used to be a competitive swimmer. I
Wow.
mean, he's just coming to terms with it. It's like you want to swim, but you can't. I mean, it's just so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And, fortunately, one of our future guests on one of our podcasts is a neurologist, we're going to be having Dr. Lisa Cook on air. So let's put that as one of the things to discuss with her,
Yeah,
to get her thoughts.
exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe she can explain some of these newer drugs to us, and if she's seen anything, if she's have any ALS patients that she's worked with.
Yeah. Yeah. Tragic.
So that's about Eric Dane. And then the other celebrity news was Noah Wyle goes to DC. Did you see that?
I
He's been
saw Curious George goes to DC, but I didn't see Noah Wyle goes to DC.
well, we
And I
talked.
saw I saw Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, along.
Jimmy Stewart.
I think he
Hmm.
won an Academy Award for that. I saw it a really long time ago with my dad. Maybe not.
I don't know. That was the movie where he's like doing the filibuster, right? And he's just and he's on the. Am I even saying what it is? Yeah, when a congressman or senator is just talking forever on the floor. Is that what a filibuster is, or am I totally an idiot and I'm gonna get
I think that's
what
what a filibuster is.
is it? And they can't stop you as long as you're talking, right? You can't cede the floor
I
to
think
it.
that's what it is in TV, at least. Yeah, I think that's right.
Is it? I got to Google it because otherwise we have to edit it out because I can't reveal how much I don't know in life. Yeah. What? So why is he going to D.C.? Yeah, that's what the filibuster is. It's a prolonged speech that obstructs progress in the legislative assembly. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Smith going to Washington. Did Noah Wyle have one?
Well, apparently, he came to Washington with the healthcare apparel company Figs. Which do you wear Figs?
We talked about that a little bit. I'm sorry, Figs. I know you guys have been trying for years to get me to be one of your people, but I'm not for fit. I don't like tight fitted
Yeah.
clothing. I'm not a tight fitted guy. I like loose and baggy and comfy.
So Figs is scrub company basically, right?
Scrub company, form fitted to show all of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he went with healthcare workers, and they urged, and his mom, who used to be a nurse,
Ah, I
uh,
love that.
to urge Congress to reauthorize the Lorna Breen Act, which I guess was in place in 2022.
What is
It's
it?
it's basically to help people mental health of frontline healthcare workers. Because Lorna Breen was a doctor, she was in charge of an emergency room in New York, and she was doing the whole COVID thing for 3 weeks. It's basically she didn't sleep for 3 weeks treating COVID patients. She came down with COVID in April 2020, and then she ended up committing suicide. It was like,
Oh my God. Wow. I think I remember that story now. Wow.
and
That's crazy.
yeah, and so apparently, everyone, she was loved by so many people, and then people started looking into it, and they realized, according to this article I read, 400 physicians die of suicide every year, which seems really high.
Is
So
that
that,
I don't know.
you don't think that's high? I don't know
I don't
either.
know.
But female physicians tend to die by suicide more than their male counterparts. And so this act was just putting money aside to, train people more on the risk of burnout, of, mental health and stuff. So he was there to urge Congress to reauthorize this act.
Why was it? Why was it?
I think it's stalled because of momentum in federal budget cuts.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, no, it's definitely could be pretty consuming in this field of medicine. We just started our pre-med program for our summer session. Today was our first day, and actually the guest to our pre-med program was Dr. Sherry Yafai, who was one of our
Oh.
yeah. So it was great seeing her today. Actually, we're gonna have. I told her we want to have her back on as a guest. So
So she was an emergency room worker, right? Did she run? Was she the director of it, the emergency
no,
room?
but she's an emergency medicine doctor, yeah, who pivoted a little bit. But she was telling the students that the field of medicine medicine is long and grueling and hard, and you don't do it just to make money. You got to do it because it's something, it's got to be a calling. It's got to be something that you really feel strongly about. Otherwise, it is hard and it's easy to burn out. And that's what she was telling the students.
Right. And apparently the people that go into that field, emergency medicine, have a higher rate of suicide as well.
Do they really?
Which,
Wow.
after we watched The Pit, I was like, this is too much. How could anybody do this job? So if it's even like a little bit real, I mean, that's tough to go home with all that every day.
Yeah, I actually asked her what her thoughts were on The Pit, and she said, I can't watch it. It's too PTSD inducing for her. So, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Although I got to tell you, it was hard for me to watch too.
Mm-hmm.
And really, one of the only reasons why I watched it and kept watching it is for us to discuss the show. I think had we not had it on as one of the things we wanted to discuss, I don't know if I would have stayed watching it. I mean, it definitely interested me, but yeah, it was a pretty intense show.
Yeah, I found it very stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I could see the stress of her not wanting to watch it for sure.
Yeah.
But so she still works in the emergency room. Is she still a cannabis doctor?
She's still definitely a cannabis doctor, and I think she's still doing emergency medicine too. I don't know. She's definitely not doing it full time. I don't know. I forgot to ask. I guess that could be one of the things we talk about when we have her as a guest.
Yeah, she's a great guest. She's very interesting.
The interesting thing about her is she was a pre-COVID guest, and I still remember we were live, right? We were the three of us.
We all were in the same.
And COVID had already come out, and we kind of, did a bunch of posts about it and talked about it and knew nothing about it. It was really an interesting. It was 2018 or 2000. It must have been 2019, right? So
I think you and I thought we were going to be okay, but she gave us a glimpse into she told us no. This is.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe. But I still remember us all kind of.
Yeah.
But being like, yeah, it'll be okay. I don't know.
Yeah. I would love to have her back.
We're going to have her back.
And see what happened after COVID.
Exactly.
And I have a lot of questions for her, actually. So that's Noah Wyle. So I guess, he's just going around with his mom trying to make a difference, which is nice.
That's really cool. Do we know anything about The Pit season 2? Is there anything out about that yet? I got to tell you, I have a great idea for a season, but I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't know how to pitch it. I don't know how to find them.
Can you try? You want to give?
Yeah, I should.
Right now on air.
Yeah. Yo, Noah, I got a great idea. And
I'm ready. I'm excited about the pitch. Oh, you're not going to share it.
Okay. Can't share it on the air. Then someone will take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off air, I want to hear.
Off air, I'll let you know. Off air, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. I don't know if you read about any of the food challenges I sent you, but one involved ice cream, and I was like, I don't think Dr. Cohen's going to like this one. So it's people that are called through hikers, meaning they do the Appalachian Trail, like they do it just in one swoop. They stop halfway at this little general store and eat a half gallon of ice cream.
That's a lot of ice cream, yeah.
Which is apparently 2,500 calories.
Oh, that's not too bad. If that's all you eat that day.
Yeah, because it says trail experts say hikers can need up to 6,000 calories a day.
Yeah, I believe it for sure.
I guess that's not crazy, but they were interviewing someone that was in the middle of doing this contest, and it took him 40 minutes to get this ice cream down. And he said the experience was pure misery.
Yeah. I'd worry that I'd be having diarrhea on the last half of the hike kind of thing, right?
That's what I was going to get your opinion on, eating that much ice cream and then going hiking.
I don't recommend it. That's my thought.
Apparently it's a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. There's trail has 3 million annual visitors a year. I'm not sure how many people actually, finish the trail or attempt this ice cream challenge.
Yeah. I remember, though, a big thing in college was getting pints, not gallons, but pints of ice cream late at night. And just, we'd each have our own pint of ice cream that we'd consume at night,
Oh, I didn't think you ate, but you don't eat ice cream at all anymore, right?
No, I'll still, I mean, I always say I'm not a religious vegan. I strive to be as plant-based as possible. Sometimes there's nothing like a great chocolate milkshake, like more than ice cream, like a chocolate milkshake. That's kind of a weakness of mine a little bit, especially since I don't do it that often. But that's one of the things, like a chocolate and coffee and maybe caramel milkshake.
Sounds
Sometimes I
good.
just have to have that, you know. So
I was
yeah.
thinking of someone who never like steers. So,
No, no. But like the other day we went to an ice cream place and I got, I had the vegan these days the vegan ice creams are really good. Trader
mhm.
Joe's makes a really good passion fruit vegan like sorbet ice cream that's really good. So, I mean, there are definitely solutions, substitutions. But no, I totally veer. I don't think it's healthy to be extreme about anything. I think it's
Mhm.
very important. I think it's important to strive, towards something, but I don't think we should deprive ourselves of certain, like if our
Yeah.
body and we're just feeling like, hey, I need this. I think that's fine. I definitely don't think it's that bad, and I'm much more okay about, I've become the weird LA guy. So much more okay if it's, dairy, because that you're not necessarily killing an animal. You're getting the milk from an animal, which
Yeah, that's how I
still isn't great the way the process is these days and everything. But I definitely, you know, I'm more okay with that. But I also think for health reasons, it's not necessarily so good. But now and then, I don't think it's terrible.
Well, if you ever want to do the Appalachian Trail, stop at this little general store. You can
Yeah.
probably get your picture put up if you finish the ice cream challenge.
Well, like maybe there's vegan ice cream and I could do it.
There, it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. The next one you're going to talk about, that one is really a no-no.
Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest starring Joey Jaws Chestnut.
Yeah, exactly. I heard it on the radio the other day.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back. And the interesting thing is, did you hear why he didn't do it last year? Do you know
Yes,
why?
that's why I wanted to talk about it because I think it's so interesting because he got like a marketing contract or some kind of deal with Impossible Foods. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He was like being sponsored or had something going on with Impossible. Yeah, which is interesting. But I don't know, did that ever turn into anything? Did they?
Well, according to him, it was all taken out of context, or it was, the contract was blown up, and he never actually did a commercial with him. And I don't know if that was like, I don't know. But Nathan said that, that was like a violation. And I don't know. I think Impossible Foods was like, who could be better than this guy if we get him to
Yeah,
start eating plant-based. And then
right.
apparently Joey got a lot of hate. He didn't expect all the hate that he got from people for,
Really?
yes.
I didn't know he got hate. Interesting. Huh. You
So
know,
now I think he's kind of walking it back. He's back in the contest. I'm sure he's going to
right.
make some money, but apparently he's still somehow working with Impossible Foods, not doing commercials. I'm not sure how it works,
Huh.
but I mean, now every time he's brought up, Impossible Foods is also brought up. So I guess it kind of works out for them.
That's true. It is giving them some media stuff for sure.
But he said, he loves meat. I think he has to say that now to stop the hate. He loves
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
But after he does these contests, he needs to eat clean. So basically, he's saying, like meat's not. He's admitting meat's not clean, so he needs to eat clean. So
Well,
he
hot
needs,
dogs. Hot dogs are the least clean of all meats. There.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Even though I gotta say, I used to love a good hot dog, mustard, sauerkraut. Are you a hot dog fan?
I actually got some of those smart hot dogs just today at the store, just because I like the condiments and stuff you can put on the hot
Right.
dog. I mean, it's like it's a tofu dog, but I don't mind it.
It's all about the sauce. So what do you put on?
Exactly.
What do you put on your hot dog? What's your thing?
So mustard, and I went to like this little country store in West Virginia. We went to West Virginia, we got a cabin, and then I got like this like relish that looks really good. So I
Mm.
wanted something to put on it. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting.
I like ketchup, mustard, and sauerkraut.
Ooh, I love sauerkraut.
All three on the hot dog. You know what?
Ooh,
I think I may have a vegan hot dog tonight for dinner.
not bad. I mean,
Yeah. Although I got to tell you, like the Impossible and Beyond burgers have really, even though pure meat eaters would say, nah, I can't eat it. It's gross. It tastes yada, yada. But I think they've done a good job of making it taste like meat, like of burgers, like Beyond Burger. I hate to say I favor the Beyond over the Impossible in terms of taste and texture.
mhm.
And I think they've done a pretty good job of making it feel and taste like a burger. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually a problem because I've been a vegetarian for so long that I would ask my husband, I'd be like, are you sure this is like not meat? Like,
Exactly. And I almost don't like them
mm-hmm.
because I've lost the taste of meat. So I almost rather have a veggie burger than a Beyond or an Impossible burger. Like something that tastes like veggies or mushrooms, I prefer sometimes over one of those burgers for the exact same reason. But interestingly, they haven't really come up with an old hot dog. They haven't really made a hot
No.
dog, a
I mean, not a
vegan
popular one.
a vegan hot dog that tastes like a hot dog. They haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
But I do like the tofurkey dogs. Have you ever had those? They don't taste like hot dogs, but I like those. Although I haven't seen them lately. I wonder if they took them off the market for some reason.
Maybe. I think I get the ones called smart dogs, or I don't know what they are.
Yeah, those are okay. But
Yeah.
it's all about the sauce. It's all about the sauce.
Exactly. That's what I want them for.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so I guess you don't watch the hot dog eating contest. It would gross you out.
I've watched it in the past, but yeah, no, I will not be watching. I haven't watched in a zillion years.
I guess it's only 10 minutes according to this article. 10 minutes, eat-a-thon, and he's won 16.
I think his record is 76 or 77 hot dogs or something like that.
I
That's a
mean,
lot of hot
and I
dogs.
guess it's a sport you don't age out of. I mean,
I don't know.
how long can you do it?
I don't know. I wonder how he. I don't know. Does he go and throw up? You think afterwards, or who knows? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I mean, he says he eats healthy afterwards because he has to, but I don't know what that means really.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
But I guess nothing bad's happened to him if he's done this for whatever.
Nothing
20.
bad has happened to him. Not yet. Not yet. We shall see.
Not yet. All right,
Not
those are
yet.
the eating contests I want to get your opinion on.
Mm,
Won't be joining either.
no.
All right, moving on to trending surgeries. Apparently, you can change the color of your eyes, and ophthalmologists are encouraging you not to do this because you could get blurry vision or even loss of vision.
Yeah.
But there are apparently doctors, I guess you can go to, and they can legally change the color of your eye. I'm not sure. I'm just seeing this in the news lately.
Wow. Has anyone done it yet?
Yeah, it's been done, but I don't know about the long-term effects.
I mean, have any celebrities come out and said they've done it?
Not that I know of,
Mm,
for
I
sure.
don't know. I think you could always just get, if you really want to change,
I
I
know
know people wear contact lenses, right? Although I hated putting contact lenses in my eyes. Do you have contacts?
I wouldn't be good at it though.
Yeah, I had trouble with the contact lens thing. I did it for a little bit now and then back in the day. And then I was like, I'll just wear glasses if I need it.
Yeah, yeah. I wear glasses if I need it, I guess. I don't ever wear them. So another thing I want to see if I added this. Celebrities are getting $2,000 MRI scans to learn about their health.
The
What do you feel
Pernova
about
scan,
that?
is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've heard of this.
Yeah, I get a lot of patients that way. They get the scan, and all too often, thyroid nodules get found very commonly from MRIs, and it detects things. I mean, it's good and bad, or different lumps and bumps. I think it's not radiation. An MRI is not radiation, so there's really no concern about that. And the good and the bad is it finds things. A lot of times the things are nothing, but since it finds something, we have to work it up. We can't just ignore it. Oh, you have a little blip here. What is that blip? Why do I have a blip? So then it might lead to another scan or a CAT scan or a biopsy or a trip to see a surgeon or an ultrasound. And so that definitely happens. But sometimes you do find something.
So you get patients that actually have thyroid problems and they've seen it on the scan. Okay.
Yeah, they've had the scan. It shows a thyroid nodule, which isn't the gold standard MRI. So then we send them for an ultrasound, which is the better way to detect whether or not it's suspicious or not. Then based on the ultrasound criteria, then we say, okay, it's suspicious or not suspicious. If it's suspicious, then we get a biopsy. And then the biopsy will either show, yes, it's cancer, or it's fine, or something in between. And then we decide what to do. So I've definitely seen some patients that way. And I think more and more. And what do they charge? What are they now?
It says $2,000 usually. It could be, depending on various scanning options, it could be $2,500. Insurance does not cover this. And doctors say it's not helpful to healthcare because or some doctors are saying it's not helpful because then it might encourage you, like if you see a clean scan, not to get your mammogram or if you're not having symptoms, and you see something, it could actually be nothing. It's stressing you out, and then you, like you said, you have to come in, and you also have to do additional scans. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't.
Right. And it's not the gold standard for breast imaging, that type of scan. There are
Mhm.
dedicated breast MRIs that are good, but sometimes a mammogram is better. And same with, it's not going to find a teeny tiny polyp in your colon that may turn into cancer. Not even teeny tiny. It's not going to show a little polyp in your colon that may turn into cancer, that if it's removed on colonoscopy will never turn into cancer. So it definitely, while it's a nice thing to do to give someone some kind of peace of mind, it doesn't mean, oh, you're fine, go away, don't come back
Mhm.
again. You still have to look out for yourself and do the proper screening and things.
I guess that's what doctors are afraid of, that it's going to give people too much peace of mind, and they're not going to do what they should. They're
Yeah.
other, but if you're seeing, I mean, people that are actually coming in before symptoms set in, isn't that better? Like
Yeah,
if
perhaps. Yeah, and it may
yeah.
show up like a lung nodule, like certain things. I think it's reasonable. Just the question is that money well spent? Like, is there
Mhm.
something else you could do that's maybe less, or who? And I don't know the answer, and I think time will tell. Like maybe someone will go back, in 20 years from now and look at the data and say, oh wow, we prevented XYZ, but
Mhm.
it'll be really hard to say. I mean, there's always the latest and greatest new fad and total body scan, and you hear about these executive physicals that people, concierge doctors do for patients. That I mean, I guess if you have the money and it doesn't matter and you have the time, why not do
What
it?
is,
As long as you're not just relying on that.
what is a concierge executive like physical? What does that mean?
It just means that you're paying a lot of money
Mhm.
to have someone order a ton of blood work on you, do maybe even this Pronuvo scan, do a bunch of
Mhm.
imaging, a bunch of blood work, spend time, explain every slightly abnormal and normal thing with you and what to do and all that. I think that's what it is. And I don't know what doctors charge for it. I think some charge a lot of money, some, I don't know exactly, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a program. It's definitely a thing. It's definitely a way internal medicine doctors make a living these days because insurance doesn't always pay enough for just the daily basic taking care of people.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess if you have the money and it's not, you're not hurting yourself.
Yeah, you're not hurting yourself. You're just going to maybe wind up going down certain whole, roads that maybe you don't need to go on.
Yeah. I don't think I'd do it. I mean, I technically have enough money to do this, and I would not.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it because the MRI is super claustrophobic, and
Hmm.
have you ever had an MRI?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I had a CAT scan. Is that the
CAT
same?
scan's easy because it's wide.
Yeah.
You're
That's
not in
easy.
like you're not, it's not as
Yeah.
claustrophobic.
It
It's not
wasn't full body.
loud, and a CAT scan's fast. But that's radiation. But I think the amount of radiation you get for that is so minimal. I think people over, hype that. But an MRI, while it's no radiation, it takes much longer. It's claustrophobic. There are some open MRIs, but I don't know if you could do that Pronuvo scan with the open MRI. I'm not sure. And it's noisy and it's hard and it's
Mhm.
long. I don't know. I've had a few MRIs. They are hard to endure.
Just for general things, just to be.
Yeah, I think I had an MRI of my sinuses or my
Mhm.
brain at one point. It's just loud, and maybe of my shoulder. I think I did. It's loud, it's claustrophobic, and it takes a long time.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
All right. Well, that's like the celebrity things. There's also one that apparently you can become taller, but there's one doctor that's doing it, but I don't know. It's lengthening surgery.
Well, that's been around for a while, actually, and it was in. Remember the movie Gattaca?
Yeah, I remember that movie. I don't remember, what did they do for the
So
lengthening?
Gattaca was with
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke and Jude Law,
Hmm.
and Ethan Hawke assumes Jude Law's identity, but Jude Law was taller. So Ethan Hawke has the lengthening surgery in it. You don't remember? He's in bed for a
Oh,
little while, and he has
I
those.
forgot.
Yeah, yeah. So it was
That's
in,
real from Gattaca. Yeah.
and it really and actually a colleague of mine who unfortunately isn't around anymore, he died, great guy, had a bad injury and lost some length of his leg and had a similar kind of procedure to kind of lengthen it and fill it in, so
Mm.
that it would heal. And it was interesting, he kind of had this thing that you cranked every so often to kind of give him that leg lengthening thing.
And it works, I guess.
I think it worked enough that he was okay. I don't know how many inches you could get at the end of the day. I think it's a little
Hmm.
bit, and it's definitely a hard surgery to recover from. It's a big surgery and a hard surgery to recover from. And,
Right.
there's definitely infection risk and all that stuff. What did you read about it?
He was making it seem more like it's just like a cosmetic thing. It's like, people want to be prettier and they want to be taller, but like, yeah, I thought it's got to be a hardcore surgery.
Yeah. I don't know unless they've come up with something newer or better, but I don't
I
know
don't
the
think so.
full details of it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I
No
just saw a
idea.
little article about it. I was like, what? Why would, I mean, I could see, yes, people do need it for certain reasons, for sure.
Yeah. 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 I think so.
That's what's trending. Now we can get into what you're watching, listening to, reading, what you have for our audience.
What do I have? We just watched an interesting show. We watched Sirens. Have you watched Sirens or heard of Sirens?
I keep hearing that people are watching it and that they're divided on the ending, and I have not seen it.
I like the end. Well, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, other
Okay.
than to say I did like the ending. I didn't like one of the characters at the end because of the ending, but I actually kind of liked. I liked the ending. I liked the show. Kevin Bacon, I thought was great.
I did not know he was in it. Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. 6 Degrees of.
Hmm.
How many degrees do you have to Kevin Bacon?
I would have to know a celebrity, right? Or be in something with a celebrity to another celebrity. So
Maybe,
probably
maybe.
none. You could probably get there because you've actually been on TV.
Well, not from that. I get to Kevin Bacon because Kevin Bacon was in Diner, one of the best movies of all time, a classic movie that he was in with Paul Reiser. And
Mhm.
Paul Reiser, I've told the story before, grew up with my mom.
Yeah.
And my
Okay.
mom, I think, used to babysit Paul Reiser.
You
That's
know Paul Reiser.
yeah. So that's not very far degrees of Kevin Bacon.
I don't know, but we were talking about Ethan Hawke, and so I grew up in Tulsa, and my friends are seeing him in Tulsa, like running on Riverside. I mean, you don't know Riverside. Tulsa's small, but apparently he lives there now, which is just crazy to me that he lives in Riverside.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you're
he's
so you're
shooting
moving back?
no, but he's shooting a show there that's coming out in September on Hulu. I forgot what it's called, but we'll
Ah.
talk about it more once it comes closer.
Has your mom seen him, Ethan Hawke? Yeah.
He hasn't seen The Hawk, but I mean,
Nice.
it's crazy. Apparently, his kids go to school there, and I'm like, but that's a bad school.
I don't know.
You have
Maybe
money.
they've upped it a little bit since then. Maybe because Ethan Hawke is there.
Maybe doubtful. I mean, maybe he wants some diversity or something.
Who knows? What are you watching, Lauren Taylor, or consuming?
Well, you'll be excited to know that the Oklahoma City Thunder is still in the finals, and if they play tomorrow, if they win their first championship ever. So that's what I'm
Wow.
watching. Still basketball because the playoffs go on forever, and now it's the finals. And then, oh, I started Department Q. It's on Netflix. Have you ever heard of it?
No. What is it?
It's with a lot of like Scottish British actors, but it's. Did you watch The Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
It's by the same creator. So that I
Okay.
was like, we'll give this a shot. And it's the first episode, the first 5 minutes of the first episode, I was like, okay, you hooked me.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 minutes and you were.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm scared to like recommend things that I haven't like watched all the way through, because it
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
bad, but the first two episodes are pretty good so far.
Yeah. And then just for a sec, we've talked about it before. Big Mouth, the animated show Big Mouth, which I
Is that
was.
still on?
It's still, so I was a huge fan of the first
Mhm.
2 seasons and then lost interest, but I thought it was brilliant. And the characters and just, I think it's good for teenagers. It just kind of makes all your weirdness and feeling weird normal. It lets you know that you're not that weird, even though as a
Mhm.
kid and a teen, you think you're weird. And so my kids told me they just started, my kids, who, my two youngest are now 19 and 21, and they just crazy, and they started watching the final season of it where the characters are in high school. And one of the fun things in it, I made them just show me, they told me one of the characters, the main character, who's this shrimpy little prepubescent guy, finally in the final season gets a growth spurt, hits puberty. So I made them show me
Oh.
that part of the episode. He goes to
Mhm.
sleep one night as a shrimpy little kid, wakes up in the morning, and he's tall and has his pubic hair and all that stuff. So it's just kind of, I wanted to see that scene, so it was cute.
No, that's fun. They never show cartoon characters grow up. That's great.
Yeah, so that was funny. I like that whole little thing.
So
Nick,
your girls did get into it after you got into it.
my girl, I don't know who they may have even watched it before I did. I don't remember. I'm not
Okay.
sure. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they like it. I mean, the characters are fun, and all the stuff they deal with is just so real. I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good rec.
Yeah, I think I've told certain people to watch it, like adults, and I think they probably think I'm insane. And I think they may have, before I told them that, may have had some respect for me. And I feel like after telling them about it, they may have lost respect for me. And I'm not even kidding. Like I get some vibes from some
You
people.
can't be alone in that. They make so many like animated shows,
No,
obviously.
I know. But the fact that I was so into it and like recommended it strongly to some people, I have a feeling they're like, whoa, Cohen's messed up kind of thing. But
Well,
who
we should
knows?
we should see if we can get someone on that from that show on
Oh,
and
that'd be
talk about
fun.
it.
Nick Kroll. I mean, if we could get Nick Kroll, that would be a blast because he does all the voices and
Yeah,
he does most of the voices.
I'm sure he has his own podcast, like a lot of celebrities. I'm sure we could get someone
Let's
figured
reach
out.
out, and there you
Okay,
go, and there you go.
there you go. That's all I got, Dr. Cohen.
That's good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody at Gross Anatomy. We love all your comments and your feedback, and give us ideas, give us suggestions, check us out, look at our social media, Gross Anatomy Podcast. Any other thoughts, Lauren Taylor?
Not for today.
There you
Well,
go.
join us in July. We're going to have the neurologist on. She's going to answer a lot of questions for us.
A lot of neuro questions. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.